plugged my headphones in. They're about to die.
Good morning. It's Moopsy in the morning with Mom and Id. Have,
Morning.
we're having a Moopsy day with my coffee machine that is dying. Good morning, Chris. Good moaning. There you go. That's the way to take it, Chris. Good moaning to you, too. We were doing some Delta Quadrant stuff yesterday. Mar Hockman needed to do some, so we were doing it, and it was Delta Quadrant. It's a pain in the butt on a good day, and it was not a good day. And let me see if I can find it here. Where did he put that? Strike group. Where's Lounge? Stream chat channel. There it is. So I beamed in, and a moment later, Baron Viscopa beamed in, and this is what happened.
Path Yeager?
Pretty much, my comment was, well, this is the Jamam Haron, so it was like, yeah, I guess it's the Jamam Haron for a reason, but of course that led to all kind of thoughts about, so that's where baby starships come from. They tell you it's the devs, but no, 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 no.
Uh,
Excuse me for one sec as I get notifications at 6 a.m. of all kinds of stuff. So I was just telling Id that I'm thinking I'm going to drive to Vegas instead of flying to Vegas, because as I'm getting ready to go on to Spirit, one of the few airlines that I can get a direct flight out of Indianapolis at the times that I want, it's $200 on Spirit. And then you have to get the seat upgrades. Okay, so now that we're at about $100 more each way. And then I have to pay for the bags, including a carry-on. You have to pay for carry-ons and you have to pay for your suitcases. I'm taking costumes and it's TT's wedding. So all of a sudden, without even thinking about it, I'm at $700. $700 covers 2 hotels out and at least 1 back. Maybe 3 on the way. 4 in total, which is all I need. And yeah, it'll take me 10 days round trip, but okay, that's not the end of the world. And it does leave the 2 sides open, so if the Star Trek convention bites and nobody wants to go to dinner, I can do that. And then my boss's luggage gets lost on the way to Brussels. And then I'm just watching through something and see a notification that the landing gear underneath the cockpit of a Delta flight caught on fire on landing. And I'm thinking, driving sounds better and better every day. And that's where my boss
right.
got into this whole discussion about when he used to work down where you are, Id. And he's like, oh, but if you do go to Albuquerque, which is mad, I'm like, I've got friends there. Okay, so you're going to drive up to Santa Fe, and then I want you to do this trip here. It's 6 hours, so that's going to be an entire day. Then if you drive across here, that's going to be another like 4 days. And then go over here, and then I figured, well, if I'm doing all that, I might as well visit Board King. But within about 10 minutes, he had added a week to my trip, and I'm trying to think of a nice way to tell him, if I'm gone for almost 20 days away from the office without vacation pay, you realize I'm gone from the office for 20 days. And I don't think he was really thinking about that too much. But it's a great way to spend 20 days, but at that point, then I have to take the doggos with me.
Right.
Which would be awesome. I would love taking the dogs. They would they probably won't love it, but if I'm not in a time crunch and I don't have to do 8 hours of driving every single day and we can stop every 2 hours to take puppy walks and all that fun stuff, there's so many pet accommodating hotels. So the only
Yep.
2 rough days would be whatever 2 days I decide to go do the convention. Of course, then I couldn't stay in the Rio because they aren't pet friendly. But I could find an Airbnb that's pet friendly in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And my son was but I can live in your house for 3 weeks. Yes, you could. That would be fine too. But he's got a real life. He doesn't want to spend 3 weeks in my house. Or maybe he does. Who knows? Yeah, anyway, so I am on one of Ed's sub accounts here. This is Carl Pla. And I have Borgies on the ground, I have Zenkethi ships in the battle zone, and I have Voth ships in the Dyson Sphere. So in other words, nothing that we want to deal with here. And I don't think I'm queued for the event. And I don't have any rerolls on this account, or nothing to speak of. Yeah, I still have 8 hours on this one. Just out of curiosity. He has 3 reroll tokens. Woohoo!
Thanks.
Let's see if he's got anything else sitting in here. How about we sort this mess out? We got that. Oh, he does have some boxes. Oh, stuff. R&D materials. Some dilithium. Let's see. Oh, we got a package of marks and some more marks, some more dilithium, some more energy credits. No reroll tokens though, but that's a start. So does anybody have anything they want to do today?
We could win the lottery.
There is that, yes. I have to go buy a lottery ticket, but it's definitely something I should put on the list for the day. Chris has Terran ships in the battle zone and kinetic damage. Well, we can do some kinetic damage. That's easy peasy.
Oh, Endeavor's finally rolled over. Let's see.
Yes.
I've got gain salvage for 500. Plasma damage in space for 150,000. And, oh look, I'm on Nimbus. I can defeat, was that 60 Gorn?
You can defeat 60 Gorn.
So, first things first, I'm going to pull out my plasma weapons.
By the way, if you have colony ore provisions that you want to get rid of from your inventory, we're looking for another 3,500 of them on the dip ships from Chicago and the colony upgrade. Everything else is filled except for 3,500 colony ore provisions. I noticed Ed had stacks of them. And we are looking at making, not this weekend because I have a wedding to do this weekend, but next weekend we were thinking about putting together a colony sim weekend. Let's see, what have I got here? Oh, I have tons and tons of boxes that I don't need. Are these in the, oh, these are in the character. Oh, and they're bound to account. Let's see, what have I got for expertise? Ooh, and we have adequate expertise. I wonder if we're at level 6 yet. And everything except defense. Okay, we're doing good here. Speaking of things, there is the new story arc the new episode coming out 2 weeks from yesterday, called Unparalleled, featuring Denise Crosby as a not mirror universe but an alternate universe Sela. And we're trying to figure it out. We do have a new Borg, so obviously a alternate universe Borg that have special nanite in their body. I don't know what you want to call that. Infestation. So they have different skills and abilities. And I know they have a Borg queen, hence the title Kings and Queens. And that's all we really know. But the prize package that's coming out with it is pretty good this time.
Now, the prompt we got yesterday stated that we're getting Tasha Yar as captain of the Enterprise.
Oh, is it Tasha? I thought it was Sela. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tasha's captain of the Enterprise.
Yeah, and by the key art, it looks like the F.
Let's see. Oops, that's the wrong link from you. Darn you for making me click on the wrong link. Okay, so that's that. The art's interesting. Let's see. The Borg threat to the multiverse continues as players captain blah 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 blah. Alternate universe Iconians and a new type of Borg infused with a mysterious nanite technology. Players captain must work with allies blah 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 blah. No, including Enterprise Captain Sela. It's not Tasha who's the captain, it's Sela who's the captain. And Etherian ally Captain Grendot Bex to defend the Iconians against this new Borg threat and their queen. The thing is, I still don't trust the Etherians.
Right.
But, so the new episode's called Situation Under Control. To fight the Borg. There's a new TFO called Borg Battle Royale that's a spin on Arena of Sompek, so it's going to be a ground... I think it's a ground fight. Yeah, it is a ground fight. The event version is 12 rounds, and then there will be an infinite round version. I don't think it's going to replace Arena of Sompek, which we also have to do. Then there's the new event, which I think is tied into the big event. I'm not sure. Which is Delete Alt Control. And we think there's a hint in the fact that it says Control in there. And the prizes are a dimensional hypermass torpedo launcher, a Type 14 shuttle support squadron, 500 Lobi, 1 Phoenix Epic prize token, and 30,000 lithium. And then there will be a new ship added to the Infinity Lockbox, which is the T6 Etherian Revelation. And there's a Captain Alteration token, so you can change your captain species or gender within the faction.
Which I don't. We don't know if that's going to affect the liberated Borg. It'd be nice if they allowed us to, make a liberated Borg another race, but...
Oh, that's a really good point. I don't think that it's going to let us change outside of the races that we've already got. Which is limited, but...
It really should just be a quality of life thing that opens up the alien gen to liberated Borg.
Yeah, Sela has Romulan ears. Sela always had Romulan ears. Sela's half Romulan. But she always covered them. Chris says, I think there's going to be a plot twist. There better be a plot twist. They did a lot of build up to something nefarious with those Etherians. Oh, we need you to take care of the, whatever they were, the Undine. Because we can't go in there ourselves to take care of them, so you guys go do it. Now we have our little warp bubble so we can see in there, but we still can't go in there. Yeah, no. There's a reason. It's not because they're our friends.
I did not trust them the moment the liaison or whatever showed up on screen. I'm like, oh,
yeah, no.
They're hot. Yeah, I don't trust them.
No, and they darn well better not make them allies. I'm so tired of allies to the rescue. I want some of the allies to betray us.
It's like if there is a female Vulcan on screen, I am 80% sure she's Romulan.
Okay, Chris, this is not in the universe we're working in. This is an alternate universe, the one where the Etherians live. So it's a crossover from that universe. So it is a different Sela. She is a freedom fighter for the Starfleet of that universe. And she's the captain of the Enterprise. So yeah, and it's not the mirror universe. It's a different universe. But I understand that in part from what she was saying on the Seventh Rule podcast, this actually did get kind of started from the Iconian War event arc and Survivor. There's, on her part at least, that she really wanted some of the story arc to tie back into Sela, but perhaps differently. So Mirror Enterprise D also met C and had a crossover time distortion moment where Tasha goes to the mirror past and has Sela as an offspring. I think it's a completely different timeline. I don't want to theorize, but I'm working on the... I have an idea because I know something. But I'm working on the... perhaps the Romulans and the Federation were never at war with each other, so the relationship between Sela and the Romulan was an actual good relationship. And Sela was their daughter, and I'm going to assume was brought up to be a pretty good kid and inspired to do all kinds of good things and, defend the trodden upon, and therefore the reason you can see her ears is she's proud of her Romulan heritage, she's proud of her Federation heritage. But from there, I have to theorize stuff that goes into spoilers that I'm not going to spoil. If you want to spoil them, I can give you the link to spoil them. But somebody suggested it was in the Kelvin timeline, but we're in the Kelvin timeline, aren't we? I mean, they call it the Prime timeline, but it's based on the Hobus supernova
So
being a key part of this
no,
story.
um, not quite. We're supposed to be in the prime timeline, but the was it the prologue to 2009 Star
Mm-hmm.
Trek is our and countdown is our kind of baseline,
Yeah.
but some of that's changed due to the Iconian War.
Yeah, but it still assumes that what happened on Hobus happened,
Yes,
right?
but
Which happened in the Kelvin movies.
yes, but that happened. The Kelvin timeline doesn't start until Spock actually goes back. So we're still working on the prime timeline
Okay,
for
so
the most part.
we're working on the original TNG timeline, except it throws in the Hobus
Yes.
supernova, but it didn't necessarily cause what's his name to get ticked off and go back in time, which takes out the ship with Chris Hemsworth in it. And
No, so that still happens.
but that
Nero goes back and so the
is.
timeline doesn't cause our timeline to change. It's a divergence.
Mm-hmm.
So the story continues on from the uh, the story of Countdown, which was written and thought up by what's his name, Kurtzman.
Okay.
So he continues to consider parts of it canon.
Yeah, but it changes
Uh,
Kirk's backstory significantly,
yeah.
so it can't
Um,
be part of the timeline that was TOS.
um,
Because Kirk knew his dad in TOS and his brother Sam.
yes, but TOS happens after the divergence and is a completely splintered timeline.
Well, that's what I'm
So
saying. So we do have two different timelines.
yes, we might actually have three or
Yeah,
four.
we actually have three or four, but that's a different
But yeah,
story.
so to quote the most important man in all of Starfleet history, Miles O'Brien, I hate temporal mechanics. It gives me a headache,
Yes.
but I love talking about it.
Or, as another famous man once said, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Oh yeah. Um, the way I see it is alternate timelines and divergent timelines don't disappear if we, you know, fix the issue that caused them. Otherwise, when Tasha Yar went back for the Enterprise C,
Mm-hmm.
she would have just vanished.
Yeah, well, that's no fun for a storyline.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So if she had vanished, Sela would not have existed.
Right, right. So we
So,
absolutely have to have these storylines. Yeah, okay,
yeah.
so Tasha gets killed, but then she really goes back in time, comes back on the sea, and instead of the sea being destroyed, it's the fact that they went
Yes.
back turns into the reason that the Romulans do ally with the Federation, and she's hailed by a hero and falls in love with this Romulan senator, and everybody lives happily ever after until we get to this story.
Yeah.
I'm going with
In
that.
yeah, in the original timeline, the Enterprise C is just destroyed.
Right.
Because yesterday's Enterprise Sela goes back, they put up a small fight and instead are captured,
Right.
which gets us Sela.
Right.
Um, so that would suggest things like the Kelvin timeline, where because of the divergence, the Kelvin timeline does its own thing, but our timeline still exists. It gets murky and interesting when you take into the ramifications of the timeline changes to the Borg showing up at first contact.
Mm-hmm. I just
My
think it's the fact that the authors, or sorry, the writers, really wanted to have a little bit more fun, so that they basically did the official version of fanfic.
Yes, the official version, the totally authorized and
Yes,
canonical within a sense. It's kind of like how the animated series is canonical, but
but it's not.
only when things don't contradict other things.
That is how it goes, isn't it?
So, but my theory is that the timeline is we see TOS, we see TNG, right?
Mm-hmm.
Timeline. There's a small timeline change when the Enterprise C comes back with Tasha, right? And we get Yar. But when Enterprise E goes back to first contact to the Borg, is where things really get mucky. And I said M, not F.
Yeah, no, no, I heard that. That was clearly an M.
Yeah. Because of the contamination to the timeline, the Borg are frozen in the Arctic, and we get that one episode in Enterprise where they find the Borg and they actually send off the message, and T'Pol's like, according, Archer and T'Pol are talking, and it's like, I'm going through uh, Zephyr Cochrane's reports about first contact, and he's talking about future time travelers and robots, and T'Pol's like, he was a drunk, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Vulcan Science Commission has proven that or concluded that time travel is impossible, even though later she finds out time travel is possible.
Or maybe she always knew time travel was possible, but she had to lie to those humans in their backwardsness. Can't let
Right,
them really know. Don't want to mess with their
right.
pretty little heads.
But my theory is that because Cochrane knows of the Federation and the importance of the future,
Mm-hmm.
the what is it, like 80 to 90 years between first contact and Broken Bow,
Mm-hmm.
he writes into existence a small little clause in the charter of United Earth about a group to protect the interests of the future, namely Section 31.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't thought about doing that.
Right.
I always forget about
So,
Section 31 because I think it's argued that it shouldn't exist, it should exist. I know why they did it for plot development, but
so we don't know of Section 31 until Deep Space Nine,
right.
in an episode that takes place after, like, by 3 years after First Contact happens, the movie
Mm-hmm.
First Contact, right? I don't think the Enterprise E ever got back to the timeline it left. It's butterflied to affect itself into a reality where Section 31 exists.
Ooh. Okay, that's interesting.
So another corroborating episode is um, maybe when Voyager originally went to the Delta Quadrant,
Mm-hmm.
they were just there by accident. After First Contact is when Seven of Nine starts showing up, and the Hansons were studying the Borg 12 years before Q introduced us to them.
Well, that actually makes some sense.
The
But,
the the theory is that Section 31 were kind of the benefactors of the Hansons, and they really
hmm.
weren't supposed to be out there.
Well, that could be said about Icheb's parents, too.
Oh yeah. Um, but it gets convoluted. Like I'm convinced that when we first meet what's his name? Dr. Zimmerman.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of spry, proud of his work and everything,
Yeah.
and trying to perfect it and all that. That is pre first contact. The next time we see him in Voyager,
Yes.
he's this disheveled, broken up old codger who's on the brink of death.
Yep.
Um, what if Section 31 kind of corrupted his EMHs, making him either, telling him either you take off the ethical subroutines or we're just going to kill you and do it ourselves?
Well, they did that whole episode on his removing the ethical subroutines and becoming a monster.
Yeah,
Well, not
right.
Dr. Zimmerman, but the EMH.
But yeah, exactly. Which could be exactly. But what if Section 31 used modified, removing the sub ethical subroutines for projects like the torturing the changelings during the Dominion War?
That sounds like Section 31. Section 31, we don't need no stinking morals. That one?
Exactly.
That said, we probably should go shoot things. Speaking of of morals. As I run around here activating transporters, this should be the interesting one. See if I can get all the way to the stronghold. Where do I want to go? Connery. So what shall we do, folks? What kind of pew-pew shall we engage in?
Um, huh.
So, kind of sounds like everybody's got meh endeavors for the day. The universal is meh. We have lots of meh going on here. Chris, you got a taste for anything? You said you didn't have really anything except kinetic damage. You want to get a ship ready and we can go do some kinetic damage?
All I've got left is plasma damage in space.
I haven't looked at anything aside from this account, and I'm not going to worry about it too much. With 4 accounts to do on a regular basis, I no longer am going to worry too much about this. They will get done when they get done. I've never even looked where this one is. This one is at level 12. No, technically level 13. But I'm buying my ground speed here. But I declined to spend my entire life just leveling up things like this. I wonder if I can get away with running up the rocks here.
But yeah,
Not.
but Enterprise, Strange New Worlds, Discovery, Season 1 and 2, I see as a direct result of First Contact with the Borg. Well, the movie First Contact, right?
Yes, yes, not
and
the episode.
and the whole and then we have to deal with the fallouts of Enterprise's timeline corruptions because of Future Dude.
Future Dude. It's a good name, Future Dude.
Yeah. Which I think they said had they gone to season 5, it was going to turn out to be a kind of Captain Braxton like Jonathan Archer.
Yeah, that's what I had heard. It was going to be Archer.
Right. Though there is a strong feeling that it may be Kovage from Discovery.
I don't know who that is.
He's played by David Cronenberg.
Well, I've seen the name pop up, but I still don't know the character, mostly because I stopped watching it. Speaking of things I'm not watching, I've seen 2 episodes of the new Doctor Who. It's not cheesy in the fun way. It's also not good in any sense of it. Well, that's not true. But it lacks some of the cleverness and the positive attitudes that you used to get, and the stories just aren't there. So I'm going to keep watching it for a while. But it's not leaving a pleasant taste in the mouth to start. But, maybe it's like a lot of things. It takes a few episodes to get its feet on the ground. I'm going to cut him some slack here. Which episode is Devil's Cord, Chris? I don't remember it.
That is if you're watching on Disney Plus, it's episode 3
Of the new ones?
of the new ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I haven't gotten it yet.
Okay.
It may be out there, but I've only seen the first two. Space Babies was, I'm sorry, stupid. But not fun stupid, just stupid stupid. I want fun stupid. I want old school Tom Baker fun stupid. I want Patrick Troughton levels of cheesy. Do not shoot me. I am busy here. Thank you. Go. And who has joined us in chat? I heard a weep boop. It's a Graz. Good morning, Graz.
Good morning.
How are you?
Just woke up.
I have those years. I have that life going on.
Yeah, is it time to go home yet?
Yeah, sadly it is. Okay, Chris, I'm going to take your word that Devil's Cord is more fun than the first two episodes were. So I will, like I said, it takes a while for the doctor to get his feet on the ground. I am going to switch over to a different one, though, because there's nothing interesting here. Maybe I'll have something good. Do you have anything you need to do on this, Graz, or are you just here to have some, fun with us?
I'm just here at the moment.
That's my typical. That's how tomorrow morning is. I have class tonight, which means if I'm really, really lucky, I get home at 11.
Ah.
Yeah. Chris is in the Badlands hunting Terrans. Let me get back here. I have
Chris is in the Badlands with Dinah.
Chris is in the Badlands with Terrans. Oh, let's see. I've got kinetic damage in space too. Wow, that's not this tune. Or can I make it this tune? I can make it Keth Mom. Alright, I got me a kinetic damage ship here. What shall we do once Chris is done killing Terrans? Chris, if you want a good episode of Doctor Who, what's the Weeping Angels called? Blink, right?
Blink. Blink is good.
Blink is phenomenal.
Midnight is good. The other stellar episodes. Silence in the Library and Force the Dead.
Chris, I'm sending you an invitation, but we won't start till you're ready.
Something.
Actually, there is an episode in the Christopher Eccleston story. I don't know what it is. The Children of the Night? Something like that? Oh, I don't know what we're starting, Chris. We'll figure that one out.
Describe it.
And Laurel, and where I did, Aliens of London. The Empty Child.
Ah, yes, The Empty Child.
Or
And,
no, or
The
is
Doctor
it?
Dances.
The Doctor Dances. Those two episodes together are really, really good.
Oh yeah.
But The Doctor Dances is the one where he goes, and everyone lives. And it's just like, yeah, such a good episode.
Yeah.
Christopher Eccleston is just such a good actor, but he only wanted to do Doctor Who for one season to kind of give it the reboot it needed.
They also didn't treat him very well.
No, they did not. But, possibly because he had only planned on doing the one season.
He said he would come back for like a anniversary show.
Yeah,
Only if certain people were
not
let
there.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, he had said that the politics there
Oh yeah.
just
Oh
really
yeah.
cut um where when they were filming the thing, people wouldn't talk to them, or would it's like, oh yeah, you're doing that thing. But as soon as it became popular, they were all buddy buddy,
Oh,
and
of course. I mean,
hey, it's like, no, that's not how this works.
well, that's humanity for you. We can be
Yeah.
total douche canoes.
Yeah, but he called out Julie Kander, he called out Russell T Davis, and said, "You want me to come back? Get rid of them."
Ooh, and now Russell T Davies is back
Yeah,
and not doing his finest work as a writer.
right.
That was a man who could craft a story and give it ins and outs and depth and complexity, and we don't have that right now.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of debacle about canceling John Burrowman for past actions that
Yeah.
right, and you know things were cleared up, and he
Yep.
went on a whole apology tour,
Yeah,
and
he did. And he's been in a
it,
couple of
yeah,
really good movies. He's doing quite well, relatively well.
but there's still a subsection that once his name was a
Yeah.
target, they don't care the nuances of everything or anything. He needs to be canceled and destroyed, and if
Yes.
you support him, you're the worst kind of person in the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, as I say,
But
only
here
Sith
they
see
are.
things in absolutes, so
Yeah.
there you go.
So but they're also out here cheering that Russell T Davis is back, and that David Tennant came back for three high profile episodes, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, Russell T Davis was the one out there, you know not instigating, but cheering on that kind of activity
And he
and
still does.
playing into it. Hell, the entire reason he made Torchwood was so that he could play with those adult energies and in the Doctor Who universe, and he profited off of it. And yet they just handed him the keys to the kingdom. Where's his get rid of Russell T for?
Yep. Oh yeah. All right. What shall we do since we've been chit-chatting here for 40 minutes without shooting anything?
I could use something spacey.
Well, I need something spacey, and Chris only does spacey. So, Chris, let me know when you're out of the Badlands, and I will get us something here.
Why no ground?
Because Chris doesn't do ground, plus I need kinetic damage in space.
You're missing out on a whole bunch of good.
I'm not.
No, I'm talking about Chris.
Yeah, it's not his thing. I get it. It's not
Yeah.
everybody's thing. I'm not a huge space person because my ground builds are better than my space builds. Chris says that will be a while, so if you want a queue, you can do whatever. Well then, Chris, I will kick you out of the team here. So we can do that. Graz, do you want to join us for something, or you just want to sit there and chill?
Give me a second here. I'm finishing up some a ground endeavor.
Okay. Yeah, I have heal health on the ground and Polaron damage on the ground. But I will figure out if I'm going to bother with doing that when I get home from work today. Today is my short day at work. I work for 5 hours in the office, and then I come home and work for 3 hours at home, and then I leave to go off to class.
Yeah, no. Sure, I'll join you.
Okay, let me send you an invitation here. Oops, that didn't work right. Oh, you're team leader now, Graz. I'm not sure how I did that. If you want to give it back, you can.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back to being team leader. Do you have anything you'd particularly like to shoot at?
not really.
Ed, you got anything you want to shoot at?
Um, anything really?
Okay, well, we both need. I need 500,000. What do you need for your.
150,000.
I'm a little defensive starbase one then. That should queue up pretty quick. Hopefully. If not, I'll find us something else. Oh, I forgot to check. I know today's endeavor is again something for the Universal Stupid. For some reason, Excel is not popping up to my screen instantly. Let's see. Today is Mine the Lithium in the Blugta asteroid field, and Friday is Win Dabo at Quarks. Not Win GPL, Win Dabo. That's what it says. Well, this one
Party's
doesn't.
going to be super easy.
Yeah, going to be a nice weekend, which is great because I have stuff to do this weekend. Which it could be part of the stuff. Hopefully not. I'm doing a little Hive Onslaught, throwing that in there as well. Let's see if, what?
Sharp twinge in my hip.
Oh, okay. He said that right after I said Hive Onslaught. I'm thinking, what did I do? Hang on. Ah, okay, they found my boss's luggage. Yay! Of course, they found it yesterday, too. And it turns out that the tag had fallen off of his luggage, so they threw it on somebody else's bag and gave it to him. No, Chris, you said you were doing something else. Hang on, but that's okay. I'm going to clear the queue here, and I will add you to it. We absolutely want you in the team. I thought you said you were doing something else. There we go. So let's go back to this then. Okay. Chris, if you accept that invitation, I will read you us for stuff.
If your boss knows this area, I feel sorry for them.
Well, okay. Okie dokie, Chris. I didn't I misunderstood you, so... No, he worked there for a while. He's, like I said, he's worked every place. Advanced.
Weewoo?
Woo-woo.
Like a coworker of mine from the conventions.
Mm-hmm.
Her second husband was from down here, and I had mentioned something at the convention once, and she's like, "Wait, what did you just say? Where are you from?" It's like, she's like,
well, it was interesting when we were talking because he said at one point tons of people were leaving Michigan to go down there. So I was asking if you were from Michigan originally.
sadly, no.
I didn't think so. All right, here we go.
And no, my dad was born in Arkansas, but my grandmother's, I want to say, third husband, his family's been down here since the 1800s.
Oh, okay.
Did you say Arkansas? Not
Yes.
Arkansas?
It's not Arkansas. It's only Arkansas. Let's see. If I remember right, Arkansas is Arkansas because there was a strong French influence, and Kansas is Kansas because there was a...
English influence.
Or actually, it was English or Scottish or something. It was where the pronunciation of that were completely different.
Both states' names are from pretty much this not identical Native American languages, but related.
Well, when the torpedoes hit, there's tons of kinetic damage. When they don't, it's like pew, 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 pew. Bang, 165,000.
That's all my plasma damage. but that side of the family's got blood relations to Ulysses S. Grant and to the Blythes. You know,
Yeah,
William Jefferson's people.
we're not related to anybody. What can I say? I know they say everybody's like 6 degrees of separation from royalty in some form or another, except us.
Right.
Oh, someone has a pizza cutter with us.
Sarin? Saran?
Yeah.
At FC Sendek. Oh, somebody had to bring the pizza.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a break in incoming port signatures. We may have a short amount of time before more arrive.
Well, I got me my
Reading
damage.
some heavier ships incoming. Raiders and battle cruisers.
So, Graz, did you listen to that not live stream, the podcast from Seventh Rule with Denise
No.
Crosby? I put
I did listen to bits and pieces of it.
it's 1 hour 22 minutes in, which is where we get to what you want to hear. And it's interesting. And I'm sure she was not told that she could say that.
An evacuation ship is launching. Give them cover.
But it also sounds like the people on the podcast are not a lot of them are Stowe players, so it was like, oh. As opposed to my response when I heard that, which was noisy enough that the dogs went, "What? What's wrong, Mom? What's wrong?"
So you said you saw Space Babies.
Yes, I did see Space Babies.
Did you catch that little throwaway line?
Which one?
The one of Ruby going, "Oh, so it's like a matter transporter from Star Trek."
No, I didn't catch that line.
So right when they get onto the station, and it's like it moves in space as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, so it's like a matter transporter from Star Trek." And the doctor goes, "We need to visit them someday."
Oh, yes, I did hear that. Now that you mention that, I did hear it because I remember his follow-up line. I kind of bleefed through her line.
Yeah.
You know, I was probably listening
Not-
and heard the Star Trek and didn't pay attention to what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russell T Davies wants to do a crossover with Star Trek. He's been pushing for it for a long time.
Oh yeah. In the 2005, the original plan for season 2 was to do a crossover with Enterprise, but both, Enterprise didn't go to a season 5, and Eccleston was leaving. So
Yeah, Eccleston would have been really fun with Star Trek. That would have been a fun crossover. Wasn't
No,
there a
they-
comics crossover between the two
Yep.
at one point?
There was.
yes,
actually-
eight issue Assimilation Squared.
Yeah.
They actually had number 4 Doctor crossover with the original series.
Yep, and
And,
11 with TNG.
Right, Hinner or or Smith.
So,
Right.
Fourth Doctor is Tom
Baker.
Baker.
Yep.
I was thinking Peter Davison, but he's 5.
There's a
What
Yeah.
you're talking about the Matt Smith Doctor, right?
say what?
Yeah, you're talking about the Matt Smith Doctor, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the guy, the 11th Doctor could actually play him, but he's what? Actually,
Look, when we get into numbers, it's because in the 5 Doctors, when Peter Davison's Doctor meets the first Doctor for the first time, they're like, and which one are you? It's like, oh, I'm 4, which means he's the he's the 5th Doctor, but the
The
4th
fourth
regeneration.
Right, yes.
And yeah,
Well, it's interesting.
Well, it's like,
Go ahead.
go ahead, sorry.
I was just.
Sorry. Okay. The War Doctor got hurt.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. He's actually number 9.
Yes.
yes,
Chronologically timeline.
yes. He is chronologically the 9th Doctor, but the 10th regeneration.
No, the other way. 10th Doctor,
eight-
9th
sorry,
regeneration.
Yes,
And David Tennant that would make Tennant Doctors 10 and 11.
10 and 11.
Or, no,
Matt
no,
Smith.
no,
Matt.
11, 12, sorry.
Yeah.
Eccleston's 10. And then, but also, due to recent episodes, Tennant's also, what, number 14, 15?
Yeah, but does he get. He's not reincarnated in the. He's just visiting, right?
No, it was a full-on regeneration.
Okay.
So, so officially the count for him is he's 14
I don't know how much longer we can keep up
in the three 60th anniversary specials.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nshuti is the 15th Doctor
Yes.
by their reckoning. So, but then you get into the whole situation of the Timeless Child and where Ruth Martin's fugitive doctor comes in,
Yeah.
which is pre-Hartnell, which, okay.
This screws up the entire count again. Should I launch a quick hive onslaught?
Sure.
Have you got time, Graz?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
We will.
Wee-woo.
like she's getting her own Big Finish spin-off. I can't wait to hear those, see how that works out.
Mhm.
But,
Oh, it's BBC,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
a couple of interesting things that I think about when they're doing the counts is that there was that line in, I think it was in Space Babies, where he says, "I am the last Doctor." Or the last,
He says he says he's the last of the Time Lords, but yeah.
yeah, but or the last final regeneration. But he makes it clear this is the last Doctor, which, if you're going to put that in the story, because you get to write the dialogue, I wonder where they're going with that.
We're talking about Matt Smith, right?
No, this one's on the new guy, Nishudi Gatwa, or Nakudi, depends on how you're supposed to say that. He makes a reference to being the last Time Lord.
Yes, because of the so-called genocide that the Master did in the last run-in. But even then, he's not really a Gallifreyan, so
Yes, that's true. He did point out that that Gallifrey is his adopted homeworld. So
Yeah.
dancing around that one once again.
yeah.
Speaking of, at one point Patrick Stewart wanted to play the Doctor, wanted to play the Master.
So
That
for
would
the
have been
'96 movie, originally they had brought in Leonard Nimoy to direct,
Really?
but there was a stipulation that he had to play the Master as well because
Oh.
they wanted that Star Trek thing, and he's like, "No, I'm here to direct." So he left the project.
Oh.
He's like, "I didn't sign up to act as well. I'm here to direct, and if you don't want me here as a director, I'll just leave."
So he left?
Yeah.
I don't blame him. He's actually quite a good director.
Yep. But the War Doctor was originally envisioned and offered, when they knew they weren't going to get Christopher Eccleston back,
Mm-hmm.
they offered it to Robin Williams.
No.
And yeah, and according to an interview with his widow, he had to decline because he was already kind of pulling back from jobs because of his brain issues.
Yeah.
But she said that she saw the episodes with him, and
Mhm.
it made him smile like he hadn't smiled in years.
Interesting.
Which wouldn't be the first time that he had to have passed up a character for these things, and he's like, I like what they did. I wish I could have done it. Because what's his name? Matt Fuller.
Yeah.
From that one episode of TNG.
Mm-hmm.
That time traveling con man
Right.
was originally
Rasmussen.
written. Yeah, Rasmussen. He was originally written for Robin Williams,
Oh my God, that would have been so good.
but he couldn't get away from his duties with Hook.
Probably would have done better with doing the episode.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Hook's fine, but
Hook is great, but yeah, I know some Peter Pan hobbyists and enthusiasts who hate that movie.
I don't hate the movie. It's just it could have been so much better. He's such a good actor and so fun, and I felt like kind of got wasted in there.
The one character I would love to see him play. The
Yeah.
Riddler.
Pardon?
The Riddler.
Oh. Robin Williams is the Riddler?
That would have been interesting.
That would have.
Jim Carrey's Riddler in that movie was interesting, to say the least.
It very much felt like the original Frank Gorshin, I will say.
Yeah.
He had that really campiness to him.
Not sure I bought Tommy Lee Jones as Harvey Dent Two-Face, but
No.
originally it was supposed to be Billy D. Williams,
Ooh.
because he played him. He played Harvey Dent in an earlier Batman movie, right?
The first
Yeah.
Tim Burton one.
Yeah,
Did he really?
and
Didn't
But
and
we're-
he played Harvey Dent in the first Tim Burton movie, and had a contract to reprise the role if they ever brought in Two-Face.
Wow.
They actually had to buy him out of his contract so that they could do it with Tommy Lee.
Interesting. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is a great actor, but it's rare that I don't think that, hey, it's Tommy Lee Jones playing a role.
Right?
But we're talking about the Joel Schumacher
Yeah.
Yeah.
Batmans, and
Well, folks, I need to attempt to get my dogs to go out because it's raining and they're not going to want to go out, and then I need to go to work. So, regarding tomorrow, I will try to be here, but if I don't get home, with it being raining, it means I might not get home till after midnight, and if that's the case, I'm sleeping in. Unless I decide to take the day off of work and work from home tomorrow, which I probably won't. Anyway, are you ready, Ed?
Give me a second. Put up on my Discord. Here we go.
On behalf of the Dark Mom Consortium and Moopsy in the Morning, I want to thank everybody who joined us today. Thank you, Graz. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Id. Thank everybody out there who joined us today. Take care of yourselves and stay moopsome.
Moopsy. Shun the non-believer. Shun.